If you've been thinking about starting something for months but haven't actually started, this episode is for you. Hi, I'm Jamie. Welcome to the Second Act Simplified Podcast. This podcast is for women in midlife who are looking for more and you're seeking a pivot and wanting to own your future. I would love to go on this journey together with you. This week, we're talking about why women are stuck in idea mode. Most of us don't lack ideas. Honestly, we probably have too many. But it's really hard to gain momentum and get moving. If you've been Googling things like, how do I move or transition from brainstorming to execution, or strategies to overcome analysis paralysis, you're not confused. You are stuck in a loop. I know this because I've done it for years. I wanted something of my own for a few years, not instead of my job, just alongside my job, not instead of family time, but I really just wanted something that was mine. But I stayed in idea mode for way too long. I was paralyzed because I didn't want to choose the wrong thing. There's so many options today. When you're in the season of, I want something of my own, I can relate. I was in that long stretch where I wanted more. I don't want status. I definitely don't want to be famous, but I want something that is mine and to feel like that's mine and that I am helping other women in this same season of life. I really struggled with, what is that supposed to be? Should it be a business? Should it just be a creative venue? Should I be consulting? Should I just do content, something totally different? What I ended up doing was researching. I learned so much. I watched YouTube endlessly. I listened to podcasts constantly. I compared books. I took a lot of courses. And when you're doing all of those things, it is really productive because you're learning a lot. And learning is great, and I want you to learn. It feels like you're making progress. But that's safe progress. Eventually, you have to stop that learning mode, research mode, or whatever it is that you're stuck in. Because as long as you're doing that, and at some point, you're not moving ahead. You don't have any risks out there. You're not taking that true first step. And that's what analysis paralysis looked like for me. Was it making logos or fancy color palettes? It was just really endless learning without taking that next step. I thought, you know what, I have to be really clear on what I want to do before I get started. What I needed to do was to just literally get started, that momentum to get going. I want to talk to you about analysis paralysis a little bit, because analysis paralysis is not laziness. It's self-protection, especially think about women in midlife. At this point in your life, many of us are in maybe leadership positions. You're really competent. You've been working for years. This isn't a new thing. You know what you're doing. People come to you for the answers. You make decisions all day. You manage things. You lead things. You solve problems. When you switch gears and you do something new, you're the new person again. You're the beginner. You're the one trying to prove that you do know what you're doing and trying to get your feet underneath you. Beginners are visible, and that's really awkward. And society, we treat beginners like they don't know what they're doing, and that's also uncomfortable. I struggled with just the visibility, having a blog, now being on YouTube, having a podcast. What if my coworkers find me? I definitely struggle with this. What if your family doesn't get it? Some of my family does, some of mine doesn't. What if you do something publicly and then you're like, this isn't what I want to do, and you change your mind? It's safer to stay in idea mode where you can brainstorm or journal. You take a lot of notes, you get ready, but you're perpetually getting ready and you feel really busy, but nothing actually happens. When you start thinking about brainstorming and you need to make a decision and set a deadline. For me, the turning point was simple. I just had to get started. I started the blog. That may sound big, actually, but for me, it was like the smallest first move I could make. I bought the domain. I wrote a post. Actually, I spent a few months writing blog posts so that when I finally went live, there was more than just one blog post out there. You have to have more to go to, or there's really no points. My sister and I both spent a couple months writing before we actually went live. Then I hit publish, and I remember thinking, well, maybe nothing will happen. No one will read it. This is embarrassing. I probably suck. But I hit publish anyway. And you know what? Nothing bad happened. If anybody did laugh, I don't think anybody did, but if anybody did, they were at least kind enough not to tell me. something important did happen. It was real. It was really live. It was out there. And then I moved from planning and learning and thinking about doing something to actually doing it and then starting the momentum. It's a great shift. It's almost exhilarating. Once something exists, then you can collect data. So in my world, I have online data. I have Google Analytics. I have Pinterest Analytics. I have my blog analytics on Squarespace. When you're not doing something, you're not getting data to even validate what you're doing. But as soon as you start, you will get some kind of data in return. In my case, 5 views is data. 1 comment is data. You need to start getting that so you can verify what you're doing. It's not going to happen fast in most cases. If you're doing something like this, you need to be okay that this is a long game. You have to get beyond brainstorming to execution. So why do women, me included, stay stuck in idea mode? We do for 3 reasons. We want certainty, we don't want to look foolish, and we're afraid of choosing the wrong things. That might feel uncomfortable, but it's a good way to acknowledge that you're stuck and decide that you need to move forward. And staying in idea mode, it allows us to keep this fantasy version of whatever it is that we built in our head, like the perfect version. It lets us keep that alive. Whereas if you start, it can be messy. Maybe things don't go right, or you don't like how things look, but you're never going to get anywhere if you don't actually start. And you won't find eventually your perfect business or your perfect audience or the best timing. Execution forces you to get real. If you're sitting here thinking, okay, how do I actually move forward? Here's what we're going to do. You need a test. The first step is name what you want. For me, I wanted something of my own. That was it. You need to name what you want. Maybe you want to be a consultant, or you want to be a coach, or you want to start a business, a brick and mortar business. You need to name that. Identify what your point of avoidance is. For me, it was just endless learning or endless research. You need to identify what steps are you taking that aren't actually getting you anywhere, and have a cutoff point. I'm going to research for a month, not I'm going to research for 3 years. For other people, that might be planning, comparing, or just reworking something over and over and over again till it looks perfect. The third thing is choose the smallest irreversible move. Maybe that's 1 post, or you have 1 poll, you send 1 email, you take 1 10-minute recording, or you offer something to 5 people. Take that first 1 step. 1 is much easier than the massive entity. Then step 4 is what counts as proof. I am not somebody that thinks proof is viral success. For me, proof is, especially in the early stages, someone responded to me. Somebody asked me a question. I got a click. Maybe you just feel energy instead of dread. That's how you start to overcome analysis paralysis. You make the move, you shorten the timeline, you define the metric, and you take action. If you've been in idea mode for months, maybe years, you're not behind. You're probably avoiding something, and it's the first step. I say that completely respectfully because I've been there. You need to test your business in the smallest manner possible, and then decide what you're going to do next. Once you take that first step, it's much easier to take the following steps. I'm going to keep working on building something for women, and it's not a course. I'm working on a 30-day way to validate an idea without quitting your job or blowing up your life. I'll continue talking about this in future episodes. For now, pick 1 thing, make it real, and let reality be your answer. If you want some help now, I have a free resource called the Second Act Pathfinder. It will help you work through your next steps. It'll be linked in the show notes. Come back next week to hear more about creating something of your own. I would love for you to share this with someone who is in this exact spot now, struggling to take that first step. Thanks, and talk to you next week.